Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching today. So today, important topic. I've been coaching a lot of agents recently on how to win listings in a seller's market and going into listing appointments and what can they say to help win the listing. So I'm going to give you some ideas and things and tell you about what's happening out there. And one of the most important things that we're seeing is some frozen sellers out there, some sellers out there that just are scared to list their properties because they don't have a place to go. I get this question several times every week. I said, Tony, I got these people that want to sell, but they're scared they're not going to find something and be homeless and sell their house and not have a place to go. And so this is kind of an intro to what things you can do to win these listings too. So some ideas on what things that you can say and do. Hopefully you know some of these already. But there's about 4 or 5 things that I suggest to agents to tell sellers to help calm them, make them feel like that you're going to be looking out for them at best interest, protecting them to when they sell, that they will have a place to go. My number one thing I say to anybody out there, if you want to sell, is to sell. We're going to help you figure this out. But if you need to sell, want to sell, then let's sell, because it's such a seller's market out there right now that the buyers will do almost anything. The sellers are in control. They're in control of what they want to do, but some of them feel like they're going to be out of control as soon as they sell their house, and the buyer is going to dictate time and when they want to get in, and they'll have to get out and be forced out. But here's a couple ideas. I wrote a couple ideas of what you can do to tell these sellers of why they should list now and things that you could do to help protect them. They won't be homeless. That won't happen. One, you could extend the closing date. It's always on or before. So you could extend the closing date a few months just to make sure that it gives your seller ample time to find a new place. Now that's still a little scary for some sellers. Like, well, I might not find something in 2 months or a month or 2 months or 3 months. So you could work with your office, or if you're comfortable with writing in the verbiage and in the agreement, explain that it will be extensions or things that happen if they haven't found something. But most buyers are going to want a drop dead date. Like, hey, you can't live there forever. Until you find something, there's going to be a time in there. So number one thing, you could extend the closing dates. 2, you could rent back. This happens a lot because 2 things I tell sellers this is a good thing is, 1, the buyers knows that it's done. I tell a seller, again, these are my opinions, legal opinions, and everybody has their way of viewing things, but this is my opinion of what I tell agents to do. When a seller sells and rents back for a month or up to 2 months or 3 months or whatever you want back, is that 1, you tell your seller, when it closes, it's done. Because if you have an extended closing date, something could happen to that buyer. So the buyer changed their mind. The buyer ruins their credit, can't get financing. They lose their job. Something could happen with that buyer. The rates skyrocket and the buyer wants out. Things could happen, but when you close, it's done. And the seller has their funds ready in the bank, hopefully, that they save it and don't use it, have the funds that they need, down payment on the new house, and it makes it cleaner for their loan and their lender for their new house. So you could explain to your sellers, listen, when we find a buyer, one of the options is we could rent back. Rent back for a few months. It's done. You're in the house. You're still in the house, and you rent back up until a certain point. And again, you're saving your money on your mortgage. Example, you're paying $2,000 a month in a mortgage payment. The day it closes, it stops. You paid off your mortgage. Now pay that $2,000 a month in rent to that client. So sometimes, I don't want to pay rent. I'm like, but you're paying a mortgage and you won't have that. So there's a lot of things you might have to explain with that scenario there. Number 3, Again, you could really write it right into the contract. This is subject to buying a new house and when you have a time to find that new house. So you could really write it in there that you can have subject. So you stay in the house, the deal's not done, it's not going to close until you find something and close on something there. That's always a possibility there. And also we could tell our sellers is after giving those 4 or 3 choices, the fourth thing is really, you could turn down any offer at any time. You don't have to accept. You put your property on the market and you're looking for other houses, and you don't have to accept any offers until you're comfortable doing that. Now, of course, we don't, as agents, want to throw out a listing out there on the market that a seller's not ready, willing, and able to sell. But if they're really concerned, if they know that they're looking at a few houses in a certain area and they think they might get one of them and they all fall apart and they can't get them and there's really nothing on the market that they can go to in the area they want to be in, they really have the option of not accepting any offer until the terms are comfortable with them. Now, this is where I'm going to give you some ideas on scripts on what to say. Now, most listing presentations, most of the time, we're only focusing on how we're going to market their home, what we're going to do for them, and what we're going to do to sell their home at top-notch, top value. Getting the highest price at the best terms for them to sell your house. Some agents, this is the key in this market, some agents are not explaining to these sellers what they're going to do over and above to help them find a new home. Did you hear what I said? What to find a new home. So they have all of these concerns. They're interviewing agents, and some of the agents might be saying the same thing. So you could say something like this, and I'm just throwing off the top of my head. I don't have a written script to this. I mean, I do, but I'm just going to say some things that you could kind of word it yourself, but I'm happy to work with you one-on-one on this. To say, explain to a seller when they have all these concerns, go, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, all of those are valid concerns, and I'm going to do everything I can to help protect and make sure you have the terms that are safest and agreeable to you when you sell your home. But this is why we need to work together, because I'm going to tell you all the things I do extra to help you find a new home. Most agents just look on the MLS and put you in a little search and bing, a new house comes up for the market. I am very familiar with the area that you want to look in. I've sold houses there. I have a sphere of influence there of past clients, and I know that market well. I'm going to go and make some calls of some past clients, some people that are in my database in that area to see if they're looking to sell. I'm going to, and not maybe right now in COVID, go door knocking. So tell me, you're going to tell me all of the areas you're going to go to. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait until you get into a bidding war with another house that comes on the MLS. I'm making an active, and I'm taking an active approach to find you the perfect home and find the off-market properties, the properties that are not on the market yet, and explain to those people that I have an active buyer and would love to see your house if you're interested in selling. So if you explain to a seller that I'm going to do all the best things that a listing agent does to market their house, find the best buyer, find the best terms at the highest and best price for them, and explain how you are going to go above and beyond to also help them find a new home, they put those two things together and they're going to want to do business with you. I want to do business with that person. And that's the key. But you have to explain that, my opinion, and hopefully this is true, that you are familiar with that market they're going into. You've had sales. You have a database. Maybe that's your farm area. You know that market well. You have people in your database that you've been calling on that maybe past clients, you've sold houses there. And you could say, hey, I've sold houses there over the last X amount of years, and I have clients that might want to move now, past clients. I'm going to call them up first. So you got to explain that you are knowledgeable, because any agent could say, I'm going to make some calls and call some, just pull up a list of all the people that live on the street and find their phone numbers and call, or door knock, go up and down the street and door knock and find out if people are looking to sell because they have a buyer. But you got to say you're experienced in that area. You know that area better. You've been in that market and have clients in a sphere of influence in there, and hopefully you do. If not, of course, you could say, I'm going to actively canvass this area looking for the house. I'm not going to wait. So explain you're not going to wait until a house comes on the market and then all of a sudden all the other agents, all the other buyers out there, and you're getting into a bidding war on these houses. So that's really all I wanted to explain to you. That one thought, that one idea is that you forget sometimes when going into a listing appointment in this market of telling them all the things you're going to do to help them find a new home, not just throw them on an automatic email or text system through the MLS that when a new property comes on the market, you're going to explain you're actively going to do and go above and beyond and find the houses that are not on the market yet for them. And then come up with a script or idea, kind of like what I just said, that explains to them what you're going to do for them, and then you get both sides of the transaction. What's better than that? And you have someone trusting you that you're doing that. And then, a whole nother video and a whole nother class is an organization process to make sure you're updating them of the things you're doing, because it might take time to find that other home, and if whatever you're doing, you might not get the results in a few days making calls that. So you got to keep them updated in a way that they like to communicate daily, weekly. Let them know maybe how many people you called, how many people you connected to, how many houses you door knocked. So you show them you're doing work. You show them you're doing things, not just wait to the result. A lot of agents just wait, just say, nope, haven't found a house, haven't found a house, and they don't know how much work you're doing and how many things you're doing on a daily basis, weekly basis to help try to find that house. You got to tell them that, because after a period of time, hopefully not too long, if you never, unfortunately, if it never happens within a month or 2 months or whatever time it is, and you're not finding something, they think you just didn't do your job. You got to show them that you were trying and what you were doing, and just no results came from it. So they at least see that all of the time that you're spending, all of the effort you're doing, I always say for free, because you're not charging them a nickel until you sell their house and find them a new house. So you're investing your time, your energy, your expertise for free until you find them the right house, the house of their dreams, and can sell their house at terms and a price agreeable to them. So hopefully that helps you with some ideas and gives you something to say different than other agents in a listing appointment. But again, I'm happy to work with any agents out there one-on-one, a little bit of coaching, and go through a listing presentation or go through or a way to add this into your current listing presentation. So that's it for today. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday at high noon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.